Freedom and motorcycles. These two words go hand in hand. And today I want to tell you why. Why do people correlate freedom and motorcycles so much? And that's what we're going to talk about, man. If you like this type of video, consider subscribing to the channel. Hit your notifications so you never miss one from me. Also, if you want to join us further and support the channel further, you can become a patron. We're looking for our first 10 to join the channel, man. Big thanks to you guys. I'll leave those links down below. Now, I would never compare motorcyclists to our founding fathers, to the guys that built this country, to the people in all 13 colonies that said, we refuse to be under the boot of a tyrannical government, right? But that DNA is alive and well. And so I think motorcyclists, people in the military, gun owners, gun enthusiasts, the gun culture still carry that DNA in their own special ways, right? And motorcycles specifically, think about cars, right? And I'm going to use this correlation quite a bit, so, just work with me here. But, everything in a car, from parking sensors to airbags freaking everywhere, crash detection, OnStar, everything is designed to make cars safer. And I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing, but motorcycles is like a big middle finger to all of that, because you have you, the machine, and the road. And the only thing keeping you from becoming a part of the road is your machine and how good you are on it. Now, of course, you can wear gear, helmets and jackets and boots and all this kind of stuff. And there's even inflatable, airbags. But there's only so much that you can really do to protect yourself on a motorcycle, right? So why would people even do it? Well, we'll cover some of that as well. But the requirements to have a seatbelt on, and again, I don't see these things as like a super bad thing, but it is at the end of the day, when you have a motorcycle, you don't want to be strapped to that thing, right? So obviously there is no seatbelts, right? There is no requirements for airbags. And so it inherently is more freeing because you're not restricted to any of that stuff, right? Whereas in a car, most people can get into a car, they can, learn how to drive it, and there's some really bad drivers, obviously, but most people can learn that, right? On a motorcycle, it takes skill, right? It takes practice. It takes knowing your machine to be able to do it safely, right? I'm from a place where it's basically flat. All the roads are straight. So when we went up to Tennessee this past time, and even the time before that, man, I felt like a new rider, right? My confidence dropped a little bit because now we have switchbacks and S-curves and, blind corners and all this kind of stuff that I wasn't used to. And that kind of brought that instinct back up, man. Like, all right, this is what I need to practice. This is what I need to do, right? And so learning how to trail brake and all of these kinds of things, all these skills make this a more enjoyable experience, in my opinion. And it inherently makes it more dangerous. But sometimes freedom is intertwined with danger as well. And I think motorcycles are a good representation of that. What is the risk versus reward, right? What was the risk for those 13 colonies, for those guys that wrote the Declaration of Independence to say, hey, we're going to stand up to the absolute biggest military power in the world and say, we're going to do this our own way. And when it comes to motorcycle riding, that's exactly what you're doing. You're saying, I'm going to do this my own way. And that's pretty cool. It is also the sights and the smells and the sounds and everything that come along with it, right? When you're in a car, nowadays all cars almost have that auto stop start feature, which I absolutely hate. And basically you can't hear anything. Even in some bigger trucks that obviously aren't diesels and stuff, you can't hear it. Well, on a motorcycle, you're going to hear that engine. You're going to hear the exhaust all the time. When you're in a cab in your vehicle, man, you could get in the passenger seat, let your wife drive, and you could sit back in AC and just enjoy everything. On a motorcycle, it's not like that, especially on air-cooled Harleys. You're going to feel all of that heat. When it comes to the smells, whether those are exhaust, or the exhaust from the guy in front of you, or the, freaking hot dog stand as you're going down the strip, or whatever, man. You're gonna get all of those sensations, and it kind of heightens everything from your awareness to the sounds and smells and all of that. And that may not sound super entertaining to you, but at the same time, it opens up all of these things around you, man. And it really is a incredible experience when you think about it like that. There's a certain rebellious spirit that comes along with this, man, from the guys after World War II, specifically when they bought these surplus bikes, and they would hang their war trophies off of them, to, motorcycle clubs and the Hells Angels and Easy Rider and, Evil Knievel and whoever else you want to, put into that role. It kind of is a big middle finger to people that say you can't be free, right? Or you have to follow all these strict rules and regulations inside of a car. It's a big middle finger to all of that. When you make a 1,000-mile journey in a vehicle, it's like, oh God, thank God we got there. When you do that on motorcycle, it's like, dude, we got there. Check out everything we saw along the way. It's just a different kind of feeling to it, man. When you have these experiences like I had the first time I went to Tennessee, and, I run into the biggest monsoon of my life. Those are some of the things that you remember. When we came back from Kentucky, it started raining. And so, we're going, down this mountain, and, it's kind of sketch. But again, those are things that you remember and you learn from, and you start to take these, maybe these skills and stuff where you're not so good, and you're like, okay, I need to improve this, right? And so all of these things just help to work together, man. And I believe that, again, motorcycle riding, gun owners, people in the military are still, we still have that DNA, man, that says freedom is alive and well, and we can still enjoy those freedoms that our forefathers fought so hard for, man. And I absolutely love riding motorcycles. And hey, listen, I love my truck too, but motorcycle riding is just a different kind of experience. And that's, to me, is why freedom and motorcycles is so entwined into each other. I'd love to hear your opinion on this. If you'd like to see a part 2, let me know, man. Leave me some ideas down below. I'd love to cover this topic more in depth. Big thanks to you guys. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.